Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. I'm Jeremy Crosby. Hope you had a wonderful day. Glad you're tuning in with us with Talking Fitchburg this evening. Got a busy show coming up for you. We'll get right to it. We'll be talking, in case you missed it, the Fitchburg Heritage. We'll talk with Catherine Snyder from the Fitchburg Historical Society. She came on St. Patty's Day to share some of our St. Patty's heritage, but I thought, hey, let's bring that back. It's been about a month ago, right? Let's talk about it. Plus, we'll check in with our friends at Better Business Bureau on how to identify a fake website. Yeah, there's plenty of them out there. I'll share my story, and Tiffany Schultz from Better Business Bureau will be here to talk about that as well. So let's get to your headlines so we can get to those guests. And we start with a free COVID-19 vaccine clinic. It'll be coming out to the Fitchburg Senior Center. Mark your calendar, Friday, May 20th, 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Fitchburg Senior Center. You know where that's located, 5510 East Lacey Road here in Fitchburg. No appointment. They'll have the Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson available while supplies last. No ID or insurance required. Everyone 5 and older is welcome. 5 to 17 years old needs a parent or guardian to be present. They'll again have the first, second, or booster doses available that day at a first come, first served basis. Sticking with the Senior Center, Older Americans Month celebration is coming up fast. Get this on your calendar. It'll be Wednesday, May 18th at the Fitchburg Senior Center. Include at 11:45 the annual photo of the 90-plus-year-olds. And we had a lot of them the last time this photo was taken. So I look forward to see who will come out for this. At noon, there'll be comments from the mayor and Jill McCone, and followed by lunch. And then the Fitchburg seniors take the stage with special performance. So come on out. And you need to RSVP for lunch. So do that before May 4th, okay? Wednesday, May 4th to register for that. If you want to register, all you got to do is call the number 608-270-4290. Wednesday morning book club at the Fitchburg Library is happening tomorrow, and it's held the third Wednesday of every month from 10 a.m. A month at 10 a.m., not from 10 a.m. Yeah. All right, please join us for the discussion of this month's book, The Women of the Coppertown. And copies of the book are available on the second floor reference desk. And if you got any questions or about this, you can email Taylor@pittsburghwi.com. If you'd like to have more information, register. Masks are encouraged for this program. Fitchburg Historical Society annual meeting is coming up this weekend. Want to remind you of that. It'll be happening this Sunday. Hopefully you'll make it out there. It'll be at Promega starting at 1:30 p.m. at the Biopharmaceutical Technology Center. Penny Patterson from Promega will be presenting, and the topic will be a company on the move during COVID. And of course, they'll have their business meeting beforehand and tours available after the presentation is done. If you haven't been out there before, it is so cool. Definitely encourage you to come out. All right, turning our attention to some fun activities from the Dane County parks, pop-ups in the park, an owl walk. I just saw this and I'm like, this sounds really cool. This is going to be happening on the 20th of April at 6:30 p.m. To 7:30 p.m. at the W.G. Looney Lake Farm County Park. Meet at shelter number 1 and join us for this event. These events are all visitor and families to encourage the outdoors. Join our staff and explore other parks of Dane County. Some may be familiar with, some of it may be new to you. Recreational events are depending on the season and weather. So please be ready for that. And you can check out their website for more information on this. But this one sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully, maybe you'll see an owl. Don't know. Guess we'll have to go out and see. Finally, turning our attention to Dane County, awarding $20,000 to advance equity and access to local food systems, Partners in Equity Food Grant Program. Long title, cool successes here. 10 local agencies have been selected to receive the Tamara D. Is it Gripsy? Gridsby, thank you. Office of Equity. That's Andrew telling me in my ear, by the way. I'm saying thank you to him. And inclusion of the 2022 Partners in Equity. That's PIE Food Grant. In total, $20,000 will be awarded to recipients of the 2022 PIE Food Grant. The PIE Food Grant was created to encourage and innovate development of projects that advance equity and access in the local food systems across Dane County through educational and outreach services. 2 local ones I can tell you about. We had the Aldo Leopold Foundation receiving $535, and Boys and Girls Club of Dane County receiving $2,000 out of this grant. So pretty cool stuff there, and goes a long ways, these grants helping out communities across the area, including locally right here in Fitchburg. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we'll be checking in with the Fitchburg Senior Center, Fitchburg Historical Society. I always want to do that. Fitchburg Historical Society on our heritage. And later, we'll be talking about how to spot fake websites on this edition of TF.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at underlay in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Bob.
You know you can talk to me.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us.
Ready!
That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Happy St. Patty's Day. And we couldn't celebrate St. Patty's Day without begging and pleading. No, she didn't. I didn't even take that much. I just had to ask her. I didn't wait a little bit till the last minute to ask her. But Catherine Snyder, Fitchburg Historical Society, everything St. Patrick's, Irish, she's got it all. And happy St. Patrick's Day to you. And thank you so much for joining me today here on Talking Fitchburg.
It's always a pleasure, Jeremy. And so happy St. Patrick's Day to you too. It's always a special day for me because my family name is O'Brien with deep roots in Fitchburg. And so it's just a pleasure to look over some of the influence of the Irish in Fitchburg through the years. I thought I'd like to start with just a opening paragraph from the book by Tom Kenny, which is Irish Settlers in Fitchburg, early Irish settlers in Fitchburg. And it opens up this way. On a crisp November day in 1842, 2 Irish immigrant brothers in their 20s drove a horse and buggy through Oak Woods along an Indian trail that ran from Janesville to Madison. As they entered the township that was to become known as Fitchburg, the young men pulled up their buggy at a small log hotel on the banks of a pond, where it is said that the skies overhead would blacken from time to time with immense flocks of migratory birds. So this is actually where Oak Hall was, at the corner of Fish Hatchery and M that they're referring to here.
Wow.
A man named Harvey Bush, who had recently established one of the first farms in the township, offered to guide them to prime, unclaimed land 2 miles to the east. They rode out to view the property, which turned out to be gently rolling prairie land interspersed with oak groves. After canvassing the promising territory, Harvey Bush turned to the brothers and uttered his now legendary line, "It's fine land, but it's such an out-of-the-way place." So these
That's
brothers
awesome.
were George and Dr. William Fox, and they found that land was exactly what they were looking for. So they went to the land office in Milwaukee, purchased the tract of land there, and then they came to live in Fitchburg as the first Irish settlers in June of 1843. And this area became known as the Fox Settlement in Fitchburg. And it was the beginning of the development of the Irish agricultural settlement of Fitchburg. So this would have been, the Fox property would have been very near Oregon, Wisconsin, and just on the edge where Oak Hill Correctional Facility is now. So that's where they located that first farm. So there were actually 3 Irish settlements, agricultural settlements in Fitchburg in those early days from about the 1840s through the 1860s. That first one was the Fox settlement with those 2 brothers, George and Dr. William Fox. And actually, Dr. William Fox was one of the first doctors in the region. So they came from a pretty educated, well-to-do family, actually. So their time coming there was June of 1843. Then the next settlement would have been on Irish Lane, well named.
Appropriately named there, right?
Yeah, very appropriately named, right off of Fish Hatchery Road. And that settlement was came to be in 1844, so a couple of years after the Fox settlement, but pretty early on, even pre the potato famine in Ireland, which happened from about 1848 into the early 1850s. So this preceded it with early Irish settlement. The early settlers there were the Kinney family, Andrew and his brother Michael. The Kinneys are still there on the homestead. And then a settlement grew around them. And then the third settlement, the latest of these Irish settlements, was after 1850, right around that time, and that was Stoner Prairie, where Stoner Prairie School is now, and that along Seminole Highway. And by that time, most of those folks those Irish would be immigrants who would be escaping the potato famine, which was really devastating their homeland of Ireland. So it became, those 3 settlements, really a heart of one of Dane County's largest rural Irish communities. And just to give you an idea, the 1860 census in Fitchburg, there were 213 households. Can you imagine that total number in Fitchburg?
Can't even.
And 76 of those were Irish families. So about 30% of Fitchburg were Irish. The head of the households were Irish born in 1860. So just to give you an idea of some of the names, since it's St. Patrick's Day, here we go. Berries, Burns, Grady's, Lacey's, McQuillans, Sweeney's, Wayland's. And then in the late 1800s into the early 1900s, O'Brien's and Dunn's, which are actually my relatives, families purchased farms along Seminole Highway too, and those families are still present in that area. As are so many of the other families are still there since those early families. So influence remains in Fitchburg. Those farms they created were passed on from generation to generation. Strong sense of family and creating, the idea of growing crops and selling them and being productive members of the community. Very strong ethic there, work ethic. And then I just wanted to say, even up to the present time, I'm saying the influence is there of the Irish. So we can see that if you drive through Fitchburg, you or walk or bike or however you're getting through Fitchburg, a means of transportation, we have the names of the roads. So you can name some of them, Jeremy. I know.
You already said Irish, and I'm just thinking of everything rural Fitchburg, which I think it's still interesting if you really think about it too, that most of the rural area is it represents it is Fitchburg, but it's still rural, it's still undeveloped, it's still like it was, like it's almost like it's been, we have built on it, and there's certainly things have changed over the years, but I always find that fascinating that, when we're talking about the history of Fitchburg, it really is the other direction. It's not when we're close to the Madison, where a lot of our homes are. We still got this cool rural area, and it really is the true, the Fitchburg. Not that any place isn't anywhere else. It's just when you think about, and I think about, and only because I've gotten to hear some of the stories from you, but when I think of Seminole and the railroad and those sort of things that are still somewhat out there, the bike path representing, that same path and going down Wet Road, and yeah, it's awesome. But tell us some of those road names, because there's a bunch of them.
There are. So if you think of the roads going east and west through Fitchburg, main thoroughfares, McKee, Lacey, Wayland. And then there are maybe not quite as prominent roads, but well-known still, Purcell, Byrne, Lawler, McCoy. So I'm sure folks recognize those names. And then there are also parks, of course, that we have those Irish names maintained. So there's a Gorman Wayside, which is at the top of the hill on Fish Hatchery Road, where the City Hall used to be located many years ago. There's McGaw Park on Lacey Road, East Lacey. McKee Farm Parks, again on East McKee Road near Fish Hatchery. And there's Burnwood Park, which is also on Fish Hatchery Road. So, those parks somewhat parallel some of the settlements also. So I think today to particularly appreciate the influence of the Irish and their contributions to Fitchburg through 180 years. That passage I read at the beginning here, as the Fox brothers were surveying the land, was in 1842. That's almost 180 years ago. So that's a strong influence of the Irish through the years, consistent influence. So I'm just happy to acknowledge that, and a certain sense of pride of coming from some of those, descending from some of those families.
I think you appreciate it more knowing, that you're still hearing those names, that there are still some of the families still at these farms and or been memorialized or are being remembered because of all of the different names, the parks. So it's quite an honor, and it's been an honor to have you, Catherine. Thank you so much for pulling this together for us. And I love I can't wear green. I first off, I thought the Badgers played today, so I blew that one. But I can't wear green because I'm on a green background. So I love the green, and I love the earrings there too. So thank you so very much. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and thank you for our history and all your help. We appreciate that so much, Catherine.
Oh, you're so welcome. My pleasure, Jeremy.
All right, we'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, Someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today for the Better Business Bureau is our friend Tiffany Schultz. She's back, and we're talking about fake websites, how to identify them. And I've shared the story. I was just sharing it with you, Tiffany, the pool that was too good to be true website, and all the warning flags were there, and it, my eyes were just lit up with the dollar signs of how much money I was going to save. And you're going to help us stop that. It happens at a snap of a finger.
We're all vulnerable. Online purchase scams are the #1 scam that's taking place throughout the United States. So we really need to be careful. We're all vulnerable. It's not just seniors who are vulnerable here. Anybody from 18 up can be caught in one of these scams, these online purchase scams. And you want to be careful when you're shopping online. Everything can be impostered. Even the BBB has been impostered. So when you're shopping online, first thing you want to look at is the domain name. Scammers are great at creating lookalike websites. And what they do is they'll switch a few letters around. Maybe they'll add an extra letter in there. And usually a fake website will start with an HTTP versus an HTTPS. That S is going to stand for secure, but don't let that fool you, because there are other red flags here that usually can tip you off that it's a fake website.
Yeah, that's and that it just starts there. And like I said, as you go through this, you're going to be like, well, I can spot it. You really got to be looking hard for these things as you're going through the website. So we have watching out for the subdomains. And if people aren't familiar with that, tell us a little bit about what to look for there.
Scammers try to trick you by using a subdomain. So for example, instead of movies.com, scammers might go ahead and create a subdomain that says netflix.com.movies.com. And you think, oh, it must, you don't think anything of it. It's just another subdomain. So you go ahead and click on it. They are very good at tricking you with those websites. So when you're going to a website, make sure that you have the official website before you click into it, because once you start clicking into it, you could easily get sucked in if you're not finding those other red flags.
And this next one, be careful with the links that are included in the emails or social media that, it's just saying great deal at whatever, brand. It's labeled all the brand. They've copied all of the same stuff, but you're going to be taken to that fake website.
We all get unsolicited emails, and usually an unsolicited email is going to include a link to a fake website that's phishing for your financial information or for your personal information. When you get an unsolicited email, it's best to go ahead and just delete that email. However, if you do go into it, you can hover over that link and you can see exactly where it goes. If it's a shortened link or you can't find where it goes, it's best just to delete it before you do get caught into something. If you do click on that, sometimes it'll even download malware or spyware to your device. So be very, very careful with those unsolicited emails. And it's best, if you don't know who it came from, just go ahead and delete it. If it looks like it's coming from a well-known company brand, such as Amazon or PayPal or Netflix, scammers are great at impersonating those companies. Amazon is the #1 impersonated brand in the United States right now. So be very, very careful. They are using those companies' names to gain your trust.
Let's talk in depth. So let's say you're on one of these scam websites. What are some other things we can look for as kind of some red flag visuals?
Look for the spelling and grammatical errors. Fake websites are notorious for having those grammatical errors and those spelling errors throughout. They will be missing punctuation. They'll be using the wrong form of words. For example, we would love to hear from you. It should be spelled H-E-A-R, not H-E-R-E. They should include full contact information. So you're looking for a company name, an address. Google that address. Where does that go? Does it go to a place of business? Scammers love to just put empty addresses in there that go to a UPS store or an empty field. So look for that kind of stuff. It should also have a working phone number, a privacy policy. What are they doing with your personal information? Where's the return policy, the company policies? Read through all of that to be sure that the site that you're ordering from, if unfamiliar, is definitely a fake website or it's a legitimate website.
Finally, just the background of doing the research of whatever you're going through or whatever company you're going to use. Doing the research, it sounds too easy, but you got to do it.
If you're shopping an unfamiliar website, go ahead and do your research before you even start digging around. bbb.org is a great resource to start your research. You can also do an internet search on the company name. It's super simple. Just go to your website browser, type in the company name, and follow it by scams. Company name reviews, company name complaints. If there's anything negative about the company, you're usually going to find it in that internet search to help you make an informed decision about moving forward.
Absolutely. Tiffany, great information as always. If we want to learn more or report these things, where can we go to?
Find more at bbb.org. You can also report scams and illegitimate websites at bbb.org/scam tracker.
And you should report it. I mean, if we don't report these things, we don't do something it's just going to keep happening over and over. Not to say it's not going to keep happening over and over, but you want to stop people from making these bad decisions. So it's good to report them just as much as anything else that's wrong out there.
Your report is going to help warn others, and it's going to give us a chance to get that website taken down.
Yeah. Tiffany, thank you so much for the tips. We'll talk to you next month.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thank you. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show, I want to thank Tiffany from the Better Business Bureau and Catherine Schneider again for dropping in and sharing about the history of Fitchburg's Irish heritage. Remember, you can stay connected with Fact TV right there. Have a great day, everybody. Back tomorrow.